nerds, we finally have some books to talk about. Hello, fellow book nerds, this is Gabby, and today I am in here to do my October wrap-up. I'm sorry, I'm tired. We're doing October wrap-up, and the reason why it's so amazing is that I've read 12 books this month, which is a return to form because I've had a bit of a hard time pretty much since the summer, hitting like 5. So this is really good. I'm really happy. I had a really good reading month. I feel like what I read was really good. I guess we'll see whether that's true when I actually talk about them, but that's at least how I feel. And let's just kick it off, I guess. So first, I've read Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett, and then I read Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. So if you don't know, I'm reading this book and the first book. I did have a physical copy from the library and then I returned it like an idiot. So anyway, I'm reading this for my read-along with Read Along Queens, where we're reading one book of a series a month, and for September, October, November, we're doing the Founders Trilogy. So in book 1, Foundryside, we follow Sansia, who's a thief, and she kind of lives on her wits, has to steal to survive. And in this world, there's this thing called scribing, where you write sigils on different objects and give them different properties. So you could write on a book sigils, and the book would not open unless it's because it's your private diary and it won't open for anyone but you. That kind of stuff. That's a silly example, but that's basically what it is. And then we follow Sansia as she finds this key that's super coveted, and she doesn't really know what she's stealing, but it's a sentient key that she can talk to, and it kind of will help her discover the secrets behind scribing. So like I said, we have a live show for book 1 and 2 because it was for the read along. So if you really want my detailed thoughts, head there. But both of the books were 5 stars. I loved both of them. It has an amazingly rich world with really nice, well thought out, hard magic system, compelling characters, sapphic romance, really fast, addicting writing. You just hit the ground running and you run and run and run. So I love both of these, and they're both big winners in my book, and I cannot wait for book 3. So if you want to join us for a read along, if you read really quickly, you might have enough time. And I think the live show for that book is 27th of November or something like that. So you can still join. Just read 3 books. It's not that hard, except they're very thick, but they're very readable. Then I read Pretty Dead Queens by Alexa Dunn. So this one is a YA thriller by the author of things like The Ivies. And I really like the author because she's on YouTube. She's a YouTuber / author tuber, and I really like and rate her videos. So I wanted to check out this book, and I actually got an ARC because I was part of early hype kind of train where I got the arc early, and I really liked this. I thought this was a very solid mystery with really compelling plots and characters, and everything really worked. I think the conclusion was way better than The Ivies as well, where it really worked for me until the end where it didn't, whereas this one I thought was really tense and fun all the way throughout. I didn't even tell you what it was about. So this one is about a girl who has to move in with her grandmother because her mother passed away from cancer. So she goes back to the small town where her mother's from. Her grandmother is a famous mystery thriller writer, and she wrote a book about a tragedy that happened way back when she was young, where a cheerleader or a prom queen or something I think prom queen died in mysterious circumstances. And it's kind of happening all over again. So you kind of have to figure out, is it copycat, what's happening? And it was a really fun mystery. I have a full dedicated review for it where I go into detail without spoilers, so you can still check that out. But I really liked it, gave it 4 stars, and it was a really pleasant surprise how much fun I had with this one. Then I finally finished Babel by R.F. Kuang. So in this one, it's a historical fiction or historical fantasy, dark academia, and we follow this boy who goes to this institution called Babel, which is a translation university, fictional one in Oxford, and it's about fighting the system, fighting against colonialism, and fighting the power, basically. I have a whole vlog where I read this, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail. This took me 23 days to read because I did not want to read it. It was technically really, really good. but I could not care less, and it did not feel compelling to me when I was reading. I didn't want to pick it up at all, and I struggled a lot. So I gave it 3 stars because I think like as a book, this is such a good book in terms of like the conversations it's having, the writing style, the complexity of ideas. But did it work for me? No. So I gave it 3 stars. So the next 5 books I read were all for a vlog. So I'm not going to go into too many details because I go into detail in the vlog. I feel like this will be a very, very short wrap up despite the fact that I read like the most book in the month. But it was for vlogs and stuff and the videos. But I read The Hacienda by Isabella Canas. So this is a historical fiction where we follow a woman whose family kind of went into hard times. So she decides to marry this man called Rodolfo because he's got a beautiful house and she can be like the head of the house and kind of lift herself and her mother out of poverty. The setting is 1800s Mexico. When she gets to the house is quite desolate and there are weird things that are happening in the house, and she's like, we have ghosts, we have an infestation of ghosts, so let me call the priest. And that's kind of where it goes from there. I really, really, really like this one. 5 stars. For details, again, go for the vlog, but I had a really good time. It was amazing spooky horror gothic vibes. It was really fun. Then I read Daisy Darker by Elise Finney. So this book is an adult thriller and it was a ride and a half. So this book we follow a family who goes to the grandma's 80th birthday party in her house, which is kind of like on a coastal line, and it gets cut off by the tide when it comes in. So they're stuck together in this house for X many hours and people start dying. And I was not expecting the twist of this book, and I had a really good time. I feel like this was another Alice Finney like His and Hers that I really enjoyed, whereas her Rock Paper Scissors I felt really meh about. So I was really happy to have found a book again that I really enjoyed by the author, and it was a really good time. It was well written, paced, and everything about it made sense. I gave it 4.5. Then I read The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. So in this one we follow, it's a YA horror, and we follow this boy who can see ghosts. He can interact with them, talk to them, but they can't really touch him or anything. And one day he starts getting pestered by this ghost of a school shooter. And Jake is one of the only few black students in his class. So there's like him struggling with that, his identity, his family life, but then also fighting with this ghost that's a malevolent spirit that wants to take over his body. I had nothing against this book. It was fine. Maybe I would have really, really loved this if I was a bit younger reading this, because I do think it was felt quite young. But that's what it is. It's a YA, so like fair enough. And like I thought there was nothing glaringly bad about the book, but nothing like moved me too much, so I gave it 3 stars. Then I read Midwinterblood by Marcus Sedgwick. So this one I read because it was a recommendation from Books and Lala in one of her vlogs, and the concept really spoke to me. How it was sold to me was kind of like it's about 2 people finding each other in all of their new lives and throughout time. But really we opened this book in this weird, creepy island that has people that are rumored to have found immortality, and there's this flower that apparently gives you immortality, and this journalist goes to like make a piece about it and explore that. And we kind of discovered that story, and then we go back in time and there's a different story with different people, and you go back in time again, and you do that several times, and then you kind of realize what the book is about and what's happening. I love this. Totally my jam. I really loved the way it was told, that it was not in chronological order, how it worked together. It really, really did it for me. I had a great time with this. I just think it was such a interesting story that I don't read often, that I really should because I enjoy it so much. So yeah, this was really, really fun read where you don't really know what's happening, but when you find out, you're like, oh, weird. So yeah, good time. I gave it 4.5. Really, really good. Then I read Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses by Kristen O'Neill. So I actually got an arc of this book way back when without knowing anything what it's about. And I read it for this vlog, and I talk about this in like excess probably in the vlog, so go check that out. But basically the author is white, and she decided to take a Tamil Indian protagonist and kind of co-opt that, take up that space, but never really go deeper into the cultural nuances and all of that, and that rubbed me the wrong way. I think the story itself is fine. Like if that wasn't part of it, I would have rated it 3 stars because it was fun. It was okay. It's about, again, I didn't tell you what it's about. It's about a Tamil Indian girl who used to study medicine, but she got bitten by a tick and got Lyme disease. So now she's chronically ill, and she's got this support group on the internet, kind of Tumblr kind of style thing, of other people who are chronically ill. And it's kind of her coming to terms with what happened to her and finding a new way to like enjoy life and feel fulfilled. So I feel like the part about chronic illness was really, really well done, especially reading other people's reviews. It felt like it was really well done and people really respect what was done with that aspect. But on the other hand, the whole cultural appropriation didn't sit right with me. So I've given it 2 stars on Goodreads and not gonna rate it in my personal like spreadsheet. But I didn't know this when I picked up the book, so it was a bit of a nasty surprise. But I talk about it a lot in the vlog, so yeah, go check it out if you're interested. Then I read Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. So this book is a YA thriller retelling of Carrie by... How am I forgetting his name again? Stephen King. So this is a retelling of Carrie by Stephen King. So we have a girl called Maddie who is biracial, but he's hiding her Black identity and is pretending to be passing as white. And one day she gets outed and she faces a lot of bullying and harassment from her classmates, but she also is like really abused at home, and you know, the whole Carrie shtick. I really like this book. I do have dedicated reviews, so you might want to check that out for details. All I will say is I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really well written, and listen to the audiobook because the audiobook was so good. It was like a full cast podcast thing, and it was so well produced. You can tell there was like love put into this audiobook, so I had a great time with it. I would highly recommend the audiobook, and the story itself was also really good, but go check out my review for details. And that's the books I'm not even going to talk about, but I did read The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampire by Grady Hendrix and Fangs by Sarah Anderson. So there's a vlog coming with these 2. I wonder if you can tell what the theme is. Comment down below if you can guess the theme, because it's so hard you will never guess it. But I'm not going to tell you what I thought about these 2. Check out the vlog for that. Alright, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I always feel bad not telling you that much, but you know what? Go check out my videos. I talk about these books in extent. The vlog with the for Goftober is like 43 minutes long and has like no views. So yeah, go check it out if you're interested. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, if you could comment, like, and subscribe, I really, really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh wait, also tell me what's your favorite book you read this month. You see, I had so many 4.5 and 5 stars. I feel like I'm winning at life. So I'm gonna ride this high and enjoy.